Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, Season 1, Episode 7. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Marvel Plus, the podcast devoted to all things MCU. My name is Brett Scott. I am your host, and this is the show. And today we have a returning guest coming back to discuss Episode 7 of Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. Ladies and gentlemen, an artist in every sense of the word, Gerald King. What's up, Gerald?
What's going on, y'all, man? I'm glad to be back on here, man. It's been a while.
It has been a while. It has. I was trying to think the last time you were on, what show we were talking about.
I think it was right after She-Hulk.
Okay, yeah.
The panel, and it's been look how much stuff has happened since then. I mean, really not much, but
I mean, a lot of stuff's come out, just not maybe like not great stuff, not all great stuff.
Yeah, but like I said, like I was saying earlier before we got started, like this show that I think this was supposed to be Spider-Man freshman year, but they changed it.
Originally.
Okay,
yep.
Okay. All right, so I just wanted to clear that up because I wasn't sure about what was going on with that. They changed the title at the last minute. So
yeah.
So okay.
So well, what did you think like going in? Because I personally I didn't have very high expectations. I was like, it might be all right. But I went ahead and checked it out, and I was pleasantly surprised. So what have you thought so far about the series?
Oh man, I like the series so far. The storylines, the animation. When I first looked at it, being an animator myself, I'm like, that looks kind of cookie cutter almost. It looked like they pulled it right out of a kid's comic book. And but as I started to watch and I saw the layered storylines, I saw the different characters in there. They have a lot of characters that haven't become heroes or villains yet.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I just like the way the whole thing is set up. They really put some thought into this thing. Kind of like they did with the with X-Men 97. Like they took the animation back, but the storylines are more advanced. You know what I'm saying? And once you put those two together, it's a good thing. It becomes magic. And I think they did that with this series, and especially this episode we're about to talk about. But when I first went to watch it, like I said, like you said, I didn't expect much of it. I was like, if it's good, it's good. If I don't like it too much, it's no big deal. But going in, I saw the different characters. I saw the layers to the different stories, and I'm like, I was hooked. I think by that second or third episode, I was like, I got to see what happens next. You know what I'm saying? And they kind of dropped them 2 at a time, 3 at a time, and I was like, because I got behind all of a sudden. I'm like, how did I miss 3 episodes? Like, but I like it so far, though. I like it so far.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things that got me really hooked is the Lonnie Lincoln storyline, because, if it was just the same old Peter Parker storyline and that's all we were really following, I don't think I'd be as into it. But the fact that they have these layered, like different, like multiple character storylines going on at the same time, and they're able to cram that into 30 minutes and still make it like you want to find out what happens next, that's really good.
Yeah. And I like that. And I like the way they went back to, because the way it's drawn out, the way the animation looks, the way that the characters look, it's kind of like the old Jack Kirby style.
Yeah.
When the character first came out, and I like how they kind of paying tribute to that, especially with the different villains that you see, and I like how they're doing everything right that you're supposed to like in a series. The cliffhangers, the action pack, the storylines, like the whole Lonnie Lincoln thing. It's like, I know what character he's, from reading comic books, I know what character he's going to become. But,
right.
But the way they set it up, it's kind of like I'm watching like an old sitcom, like a drama, like Law and Order or something almost. And so, some of these scenes, and I noticed too that they, not saying they copy, but they follow a lot of the Into the Spider-Verse stuff too. Like they, if it what's that old saying? If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah, no, it does. It just feels like this is another one of the universes off of Spider-Verse, right? Like we're just tuning into one of those many universes. Yeah, I feel like the way that they did the Lonnie Lincoln storyline is like it was a real clever way to like bring the character in, make you care about the character before they, do what they're eventually going to do with the character. It really gets you hooked into the story because you love him in the beginning and he's like a really good dude. But then when you hear the name that the gang gives him, and you're like, oh, okay, this might not turn out, so great for Lonnie Lincoln.
Yeah, and then the whole thing with his he's trying to help his brother, and
Mm-hmm.
and he thinks he's doing the right thing, and like the pressures of having everybody look up to him
Yep.
you know what I'm saying? It's like, man, I can see why he would, just go crazy one day, and then like
Yeah.
not him, but with the whole the Osbournes,
Mm-hmm.
son and the father, like I like how they made it so he's like he's an internet sensation now. He's a
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like
Of course,
it's
of
popular,
course he would be, right? He would be. Like
right?
that's exactly how the son of like a multi-billionaire who runs a corporation would be, you know?
And everybody he's perceived online like everybody loves him and all that, but he still feel isolated because he has to
Yeah.
keep up his image and all. I like that whole thing too. Like it kind of brought him into the modern day.
Hmm.
Like like in our era when we were going to school, there were pressures and stuff like that, but it was more like we were in each other's faces. Now they have to be
Yeah.
online with this type of stuff, and I like that whole dynamic of it. Mhm.
Yeah, the only thing you had to worry about growing up was like your school. You know what I mean? Like how
Yeah,
you were perceived in your own school. And now it's like people across the world could know things about you. So it's a crazy world we live in, and I'm glad that they made it modernized like that because it works really well. Like the whole show, it still feels like classic Spider-Man storytelling, but it's in a modern era. It works, man. It's kind of like when they did the ultimate Spider-Man and kind of reset, the comic books in that way. Like, oh, we're gonna do this ultimate universe, and that's how they end up getting to Miles Morales, and it's all like current day Spider-Man, very similar to that. It still has that old feel, like you said, a very like Jack Kirby, like Stan Lee type feel to it, especially even with the intro, with the comic book scenes and stuff like that throughout. I dig it, man. I'm loving the series. I didn't expect much, and each episode's getting like better and better. I was the same way about the animation. I was like, this kind of looks like little kid animation. Like I don't know, but
right.
until we get to the fight scenes. Now the fight scenes are like seamless, man. They flow so fantastic. Just like I love it. The action sequences are really good, and it works with this like smooth animation style.
Yeah, it almost looked like it's rotoscope, but it's not.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? It's like
Yeah,
but if you pause if you pause each scene in this cartoon, it's like it's something that a kid can draw too. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? Without much and wouldn't have a problem with it. But and that's what I like with, like you said, with the fighting scenes. It's like you feel the impact. Like when they
hmm,
when throwing it when Scorpion is throwing these punches at him, you feel it, and he's bleeding. They got blood, and
yeah.
he's calling for help and all that. Just that whole scene. And then one scene I liked in this episode too was when they did the street racing,
Oh yeah, yeah,
and and just like that whole Fast and Furious type thing that they had going
hmm,
on, and like the whole relationship between him and Rico. Uh, and I like that dynamic too. Like you see they kind of grow close, and that whole conversation that they had.
yeah,
He tells her like, "Hey, I'm lonely too, just in a different way. You
yeah,
know, I have to keep up this image. I'm an Osborne son, and I'm an individual, but still people still know my dad, and I feel that
yeah.
too, because I do photography, and my dad was he still is he's a photographer before me, and it was the
Hmm.
same way growing up. People didn't really take me seriously. They do now that I'm older, but
Right.
I kind of understood that about him when he said that, like, I'm always gonna be in my dad's shadow no matter what.
Yeah.
I learned to embrace it early. I used it to my advantage sometimes if I could. If
Yeah.
not, no problem. But I got that about him. And then and then it was one scene. There was another scene in here that I want to talk about was just the whole thing about Miko, and she was saying like she feel like she's losing her friend because he's
Hmm.
getting more popular or whatever like that. And I had friends tell me that sometimes, when I was in high school, at some of our reunions, they felt that way too because I was an artist growing up, and
Right.
I just sometimes you start to hang with a different crowd of people, and, and it's just I like the way they put that stuff in there, and it's good to see that back. Storylines are back. And I can't wait to see what happens next. I don't know what we got 2-3 episodes left. I just want to see where the whole thing goes. And I also love his different suits. He didn't really
Yeah.
wear the classic suit yet. He's wearing all these different ones, like from the video game and all of this.
Yeah.
It kind of
And
suits. Yeah.
I'm kind of surprised that they're sticking with this white and, the white suit with the blue and red accents on it. Like, I'm surprised they're using it so much. It's like his main suit for this series. I think just from seeing pictures and stills from the show that eventually he's going to get that classic Spider-Man costume. But they seem to be using this one most of the time in the series. I kind of dig that.
Yeah, and I also think I think they'll switch it up. I don't know if they're gonna do a second season. I'm pretty sure they will because this show is like as each episode comes out, more and more people starting to
Yeah.
check it out. We're putting things online about it, saying it's good, and
Mhm.
it's getting. I don't know about reviews and stuff like that. Those are always back and forth.
Yeah.
But yeah, they stick into this suit. And I think it's the suit from. I've seen it in the comic books a lot, but I think it's the suit from one of the video games.
Okay.
I think
Okay.
it's one of the Sony games. It's one of the suits that you can, when you get to a certain level, you unlock it.
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of like Hitman and stuff like that. I think it's one of those suits, and I want to see him. My prediction for the finale. I know we ain't got to that part yet, but
No, it's all right. Go, let's go. But just keep in mind, I haven't seen episode 8 yet. I'm waiting to watch episode 8. Or
okay,
yeah, yeah. So I'm only seen up to this Scorpion episode and how it ends, and I'm waiting to watch the next one. But go ahead because I have my own predictions too.
Okay, but after this Scorpion episode, let's stick. We're gonna stick to that one.
Okay.
I didn't expect it to end the way it did. I knew about the Scorpions gang. I knew they were going in that direction, right?
Mm-hmm.
The Scorpion is one of the main characters, him and Lizard. And,
Yep.
But when that scene when he busted into he busted into their little headquarters and they start shooting back and all this, I'm like, at that point, I'm like, man, I don't know what's gonna happen next. I know, you know what I'm saying? Because he started to.
Yeah.
I mean, it got made. He started to throw the bodies around. You start to see people. I'm like, whoa, like I didn't know they were going in this direction. Like,
yeah, I don't think I've ever seen guns either. I don't think I've ever seen guns in a Spider-Man cartoon.
Not like this. And then he was chopping them in half, and I'm like, oh, like, damn, like,
yeah.
But then, but after that whole scene happened, and when him and Peter got in that fight, and he's like, he like punctured the suit, and he's like, you can see through his glasses and all of this. I'm just like, oh, that's if somebody didn't watch this series at all, and they just watched that one episode, they would be hooked. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, now that's how you do it if you're really trying to get some people to draw into it. And but this is my favorite episode so far.
Yeah.
Now I watched ahead of this episode, but this episode here is the one. I think this is the climax of the whole series. Because that fight that he got into means so much because he had to get rescued.
Yeah.
And you see the way he got rescued.
With the glider,
like the glider from the Goblin, right? So
yeah,
I was like, okay, that's a good way to say he's gonna be in the series, but not in the series. So I'm thinking like when the show when it gets to this finale, I don't think all the storylines are gonna like just close up. You know what I'm saying?
I don't either. Yeah,
I think it's gonna be a few cliffhangers, a few things to be closed up, but I think it's gonna be a few cliffhangers because they have to do a second season, man. Like it's
yeah. I feel like they're saving the Norman Osborn stuff like for another season because I think it's been done so many times where the Goblin is like the first villain that you see. He was that way in the cartoon in the 90s. It was that way in the first Tobey Maguire film. So it's like we've done this so many times. It's time to switch it up, kind of like they did with the Batman earlier this year, right? Like instead of starting with the Joker or something like that, they're like, let's go with Riddler in the first one. Like, yeah, because people expect, certain people to show up. And I like that they just tease you with the Norman Osborn stuff this whole season. I think they're setting up like maybe like the end of this season, one of the like ending scenes is going to be like you seeing what Norman's really up to behind the scenes, like, or maybe at the end, Spider-Man goes his own way. He realizes like, you know what, I need to go my own path. Sorry, but I gotta go, Mr. Osborn. And then you see Norman like pissed, like, okay, I see how it is. And then he'll start using his own glider and whatever for like next season. I feel like they're setting it up, but they're not going to give us any Green Goblin this season at all.
Yeah, I think they're gonna. I think they like maybe if they do have an after credit scene, maybe they'll have something like that. We'll finally see like what a glimpse of what he's doing and what Oscorp is really up to. But I also think that like they already had a few characters in here. I did not expect that, like the when they brought Daredevil in, and then when they brought Iron Man, I'm like, I didn't like, whoa, like they really showed him, and it was a classic. It's the classic suit from the comic book.
You know what I'm saying? I thought it was interesting that they I like that they are bringing in so many characters, but they don't have to take over. I love that Daredevil cameo, but it also kind of made me wonder, like, another thing they could do at the end with like an end credit scene or something is maybe reveal that like Kingpin is behind a lot of the stuff. Like maybe he is working with Osborn, something like that. Because bringing in Daredevil, you automatically start thinking Kingpin. You know what I mean? So I just think it would be cool, especially with using that version of Daredevil. They use Charlie Cox's voice for it. I think it'd be cool if they actually bring in Vincent D'Onofrio to do the Kingpin's voice in the cartoon as well. That would be pretty cool.
Oh, that'd be cool as hell, yeah. And then plus two, he how many times Kirby drew that character and like and even with him and Dr. Octopus, like there's just that classic look that they have, and they kept that whole look, but they made it, some of his scenes are 3D and all of this stuff. It's good to see that. But yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if Kingpin is behind all this, and then especially with the whole gang thing, he can like kind of quill all that whole because I think I have a comic book, Amazing Spider-Man comic book, where Tombstone and Kingpin actually start to work together. So
I can see that.
Yeah, so it's like because he wanted to get the gangs in order so he can run for mayor and tell everybody, hey, I stopped crime and all of this stuff, as a political talking point. But that's just one. I had a lot of Amazing Spider-Man comic books, and that's one thing about this show too, and especially this episode is that they, how sometimes even with X-Men 97, they blended these storylines together. Sometimes it worked, but sometimes people got like, oh, this didn't happen in this sequence and all that. But I'm like, but it looks good in a cartoon and as a continuing story. So what's up? Oh, okay. Hold on. But yeah, hold on one second, Brett.
Okay.
Hold on, let me pause for a minute. Got it? Okay, right. All right, sorry. All right, I'm good. Okay. Anyway. But like I was saying, like when you blend different storylines together, sometimes it works, sometimes it don't. But with this show, everything seemed to flow real smoothly. All the different conversations, the relationship he has with his classmates, as opposed to the relationship he has with the core students that like the smart students that they have. I think one of those guys is going to be the new Incredible Hulk. And then you got the girl from Wakanda. Okay. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah. What do you think about? So, if you remember a couple episodes ago, there was a girl. She was like sneaking up to the top floor, and Peter caught her. Like, it was like a 2-second scene, and then they never went back to it. Maybe they did in episode 8. I don't know. But there was a girl coming up the stairs. He's like, "What are you doing up here? You're not supposed to be up here." And then she's like, "Well, yeah." So, I mean, I wonder like how big of a deal that turns out to be.
I think that was a preview for Shadowcat.
Really? Okay. Maybe.
Or one of his like, because if it was in the DC universe, I'd have been like, oh, that's Catwoman or some burglar or somebody like that. But something told me that's going to be Shadowcat or yes, yep. I want to say Shadowcat because I was thinking of another character, maybe a Daredevil character. But but I want to see where the whole Daredevil thing goes too, because they didn't. You notice they didn't give him his classic suit. They gave him the black suit.
Yeah, that was
I mean, one of
interesting.
his suits, but I was like, which or which area, which era is this? Like, what is
Hmm.
he going? Is he gonna come back? You know what I mean? Like, because him and Peter become good friends in the comic books a lot, and we really
Yeah,
didn't see that a lot. I mean, we don't see that at all in the live action one, and I
right,
wonder if they
right.
will go that, will they go that direction too?
That was another great fight scene too. That Daredevil Spider-Man scene, like not
Oh
just the
yeah.
fighting, but the dialogue back and forth. It felt like how they interact in the comics. Like it's they're joking back and forth. Daredevil's a little bit more serious of a character, but either way, they're. I mean, Peter's dropping quips left and right, and he's making fun of him, and Daredevil's like, Spider-Man's like, oh, you're good fighting. You're good at fighting. And he's like, you're not, and it like knocks him down. Like that felt like the characters to me. I felt like they did a good job bringing those characters alive there and making them feel like the comic version of the characters. Yeah, I hope to see Daredevil come back because that was a great scene, and I feel like just with the way he left, with only saying like, there's he's not telling you everything. He's got a secret
Mhm.
or something like that.
Yeah, he's like,
I
I think he said
feel
something
like
like he's up to something over there. You don't know everything, Peter. He's kind of
yeah,
like, yeah, you think he's helping you out, but he really has his own agenda. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, and I wonder if Peter will find it out on his own by the end of the season, or if Daredevil will come back again. You know what I mean, and
Something's going
shed
on
some
too
light.
with the right. I know what you mean. Something's going on too because when he got knocked out and he woke back up and he's in this hospital, they
Hmm.
took I noticed they took a sample of his blood. And
Oh, okay.
yeah, it was like if you go back and watch it, it was just like for a quick second with that. It's one of those scenes where he's opening his eyes up and it's kind of
Hmm.
blurry. And I noticed they took a sample of his blood, and then when he woke back up, Osborn was standing over him like, "Hey, Peter, you okay? You in my facility and all this." I'm like, "What are they doing with his blood? What are they gonna try to do with that?"
Yeah,
And
something for
it,
sure.
yeah, and I'm like, I wonder is he like, when if they do go the whole Venom route and all of that, I wonder is
Hmm.
that gonna be a part of it? But I was trying to think of what comic book where they took his blood and did something with it, or I was trying to find that out, but I haven't found nothing out on Google yet. I didn't want to jump ahead too much to
Yeah,
be
I
bad with
feel
that,
like
but
it could also be the way that they end up creating the serum or whatever for Green Goblin. Like you never know. Like they could
oh yeah, yeah,
use elements of his blood to create some sort of like super soldier serum or whatever. You know what I mean? And end up that being what happens.
yeah, or they could be going the Sinister Six route. You never.
Yeah. Yep.
um, the live action version, I heard that they were that's what they're trying to do, and they
Hmm.
kind of did it with the last Spider-Man movie when they had all three of them in it. They got
Yeah.
some guys in it, but they might go that route too. But then again, there's so many characters in here who were like they brought their origin story, but they made it all into this story. Like you
Hmm.
got the guy that's gonna be the new Hulk, and you got a couple people in there from Wakanda, and and even the Osborns, like they got the new Goblin and Green Goblin, and then you got Tombstone and Doctor Octopus,
Yeah.
and even one episode with the unicorn. It's like
Yeah. I thought that was
yeah,
interesting. They made the rhino into the unicorn.
yeah,
But then you got her, I don't know if it's her brother or just another member of her gang or whatever. He looked like the actual rhino. Like that dude, if he gets a hold of that unicorn horn, he's gonna be Rhino, like for sure. He even looked like him. He was like big, thick, stocky dude
yeah.
with a big head.
And that's the thing. We just saw, like, I think we pretty much seen the whole Sinister Six except the Shocker,
Yeah.
um, and and it was so subtle. Like they didn't just try to force the characters in there. They kind of
Hmm.
made it so all their stories kind of blended together, and I like that too. So yeah, I like this show, man. Like I hope they do I hope they do a couple scenes. I mean, a couple seasons of it, because
Me too.
if they go the route with the Sinister Six, they can bring in Venom. They can bring in so many different characters. Like I think one episode even had what Doctor Strange was in,
Yeah. Yeah. The
and
first
yeah,
episode, man.
yeah, and it's like they can pretty much do anything these days. So yeah,
Yeah.
between I like this. I like. I mean, I won't say it's like I don't like it like X-Men '97
No.
because I'm more of an X-Men person anyway. I read
Hmm.
more X-Men books than anything, but
Same. Yeah.
as far as like Marvel animation, this show was up there. It's probably my second to that show.
Yeah, I feel like Marvel's animation is coming along, man. Like
Yeah,
it's always been kind of lopsided. I feel like DC has always put out amazing animated films and shows
mhm.
since the '90s, and Marvel just they had a couple good ones in the '90s, but then I feel like in between there and now it hasn't been that great. But I feel like animation's making a big comeback with '97 and then this series and the What If series. I feel like they're kind of hitting on all cylinders now. They're doing good.
Yep. And I think I was behind on the a few of the Disney Plus shows. I got busy and everything, and I watched the Star Wars stuff and all of that stuff. But I was like,
Hmm.
where's all them? I'm trying to look at the Marvel stuff, and What If came out, but I had to binge watch that and everything. I like the way it ended, and I like what happened in that. But with this show, I'm like, but Spider-Man is always different because that's their main character,
Yeah.
and it's people that don't even like Marvel, but everybody know who Spider-Man is, right?
Yeah.
So and so in between waiting for, I was talking to my daughter because she was into the Spider-Verse and
Hmm.
all of those, and and I and I was like, I need something to watch in between that. And I said, I know they're coming out with another Spider-Man cartoon, and I was like, it was supposed to be the freshman year, but I
Yeah.
didn't know what it was about. I'm like, I just whatever. I'm not going to expect much. That's why I'm not disappointed.
Yep.
But but then when it finally came out, I was like, okay, I'm gonna let a couple episodes go by, and then because I want to binge watch a couple of them,
Hmm.
and I got hooked on it. But this episode 7, I'm like, man, now I really got to see, I really got to see how it ends, and I really want another season of it though, just
Yeah.
because of this episode that just happened. Because if they can do this the first season, just imagine when they come back with even more action packed stuff like next year or whatever. But
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
want to see how this ends though, or how it all comes together in these next 2 episodes.
Yeah. I'm excited, man. I feel like, and Marvel's got a lot of stuff coming out again this year. I'm kind of worried because that was kind of their undoing a couple years ago. Is they put out too much too fast, and
Mm.
like I think people just fell behind and didn't care as much about some of the series fell flat for some people. But
Yeah,
I mean, obviously, I've watched all of them. I've somewhat enjoyed just about everything. Some more than others, but like then they took a whole year off where they only put out like one movie and that's it, right? And Deadpool and Wolverine killed, right? It did
oh yeah,
amazing. And so it's like, oh, are we making a comeback? And I mean, I guess this year will tell because they're dropping a ton of stuff, like something every month, man. We got Brave New World is out right now. We got next week, in like 2 weeks, we get Daredevil Born Again coming out. Um,
I can't wait. I can't wait for
there's
that.
there's a Wakanda animated series coming out.
Yep.
Um, Ton of stuff. Ironheart's coming out. There's so much stuff on the slate for this year. Fantastic Four, Thunderbolts. Like it's going to be a big year. So I'm hoping that they have more hits than misses, and we can get back on track, man. Because I love the MCU so much. I hate to see it, you know, never be what it once was again.
Yeah, I think it's like Marvel always had their ups and downs, even with the comic books. But
Yep.
this is the first time we're seeing the like with the whole MCU. I look at it like those old Laker runs back in the day. You had your
Mhm.
Magic Johnson Lakers, then you had your Kobe Bryant Lakers. But then
Yeah.
in between those 2 points,
Right.
they had their dip. People still went to the games, but they didn't win as much and all of that. And then when they did get another dynasty, it kind of came back up when they had a whole new different
Yeah.
perspective. And I think I think they're going in the right direction, but at the same time, I think some of the old stuff that they were doing was working. It's just
Hmm.
that they still have this disconnect between the people who created these comic books and the people who
Yeah.
making these movies right now or making these
Yeah.
TV shows right now because like you still got these creators. They like, hey, we want the movie to be this way, but then these people over here like, hey, we're making the movies, we're bringing in the billions of dollars.
Right.
Um, this is what an audience likes that's going to see a movie. They might not, and then we have our MCU fans now that they're MCU fans. They might not be necessarily comic book fans,
Right.
and all of their knowledge might come from some YouTube videos or something like that. You know what I mean? So
Yep.
I think now that like as far as right now with all the shows coming out, because you got the shows, you got the animation, you got the live action movies, and up until Endgame, everything, Endgame made it all come together. But
Yeah.
I think now they should focus on the Young Avengers. I don't know if that's
Yeah.
still the plan, but I think that'll be dope. And then you can get kids that's like, I have an 18-year-old, like kids those age, they like the MCU, they love it, but they love the
Hmm.
movies more than they won't go back and read it. They'll read a couple comic books here and there, but I'm
Yeah.
sure my daughter hasn't read as many comic books as I have because I'm way older than
Right.
her. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But she loves Miles Morales and all this stuff. That's how she got introduced into Spider-Man was Miles. But um, I think Miles came out when I was about her age, like 17, 18. That's when I read my
Hmm.
first Miles Morales comic book, and and she loved those films. She introduced me to the first Spider-Verse film. I didn't go see it.
They're
I
so
thought I was
damn
like,
good
oh, it's
though,
just
man.
anime. Yeah, but it got me back into Spider-Man, and I and just that the second movie did too. But like back to this series though, like I would love to. We might see Miles come in this series. You never know.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
um,
Yep.
but I like it. I like what's going on so far. I like the way this show ended, but I'm still a big fan of the after credit scenes though. Like I
Yeah.
know some people say, "Oh, I don't, it's too much" and all that. I was like, no, I like it because now everybody's trying to do it. And
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
What do you are you planning on seeing Brave New World this weekend?
Man, I plan on seeing it tonight if everything go
Okay.
right. I'm gonna do my Valentine's Day thing. By the way, happy Valentine's Day, everybody.
Yes.
Um,
Yes.
I want to I want to do that, but I do want to see if we do go to the movies. That's the movie we want to see. But at the same time,
Right.
I'm the big Marvel fan in the house, and
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying. If she want to go see something else, we can. But I'm definitely going to see it like within these next couple of days, because I was a big fan of Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Uh-huh. Me too.
That's
Me
that's
too.
one of my that's one of my top shows of the Marvel shows.
Mine too. Yep.
Um, I did like WandaVision too. Like and I like She-Hulk way more than other people. A lot of people got on it, but I'm like I loved it. I thought the shit was
I thought it
funny.
was fine, man.
I
I thought
thought
it
it
was
was
fine.
funny as hell. I
Yeah.
thought the actress was funny. I want to see them do it again. I like the way it ended. That it probably had the most creative ending of all the shows.
Yeah.
Um,
It was out there, man.
yeah, I really want to see. I really want to see Moon Knight get his just due. Um,
Yeah. That'd
I
be
really
cool.
thought Moon Knight should have. I thought it was supposed to. I wanted to be gritty like Daredevil, like that level of grittiness.
Well,
But
maybe they could do that now. Now that they're finally seeing that they can do that, and I guess Daredevil. I heard a report that this Daredevil was going to have some scenes that were like even darker and more violent than the Netflix series, and I was like, whoa, like
yeah,
that's pretty crazy to hear. I'm
yeah,
glad to hear it though, because that I mean the darkness, the street level like violence in that show is some of the best stuff in it. Like it's really got a dark feel to it, and I was worried that when they did it over at Disney that it was going to be too colorful. You know, it's going to be too bright,
colorful,
and um,
kind of watered down
right,
a little bit with the violence. Yeah.
correct.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I'm happy to hear that it's pretty violent and pretty dark still, and they're bringing back all the same characters. Um, yeah, that's probably the thing that I'm most looking forward to coming up here soon is their Daredevil series and see how it holds up compared to the Netflix stuff.
Yeah, I think I think it'd be dope. But that Netflix series though, some of those scenes, man, it was like they weren't just good scenes for the Netflix series. They were like cinematic masterpieces. The hallway scene,
Yeah.
and then I think the next season he did the same scene. It was like the hallway scene, but he was going down the stairs this time. You,
Yep.
you know what I'm saying? And then the next one it
Yeah.
had the Punisher in it, and then that whole thing with the prison, like
So good, man.
it was
That
like
was
boom,
so
boom, boom, boom. Yeah, and
Hey, there he is.
Am I back?
Yep, you're back.
Okay, yeah, it cut me off, man. But yeah, I was just like I was saying. I want to see all these. I want to see all the good ones come back, and I do want to see the Young Avengers do their thing too. So, um, I don't know if the Brave New World has a after credit scene, but I hope it's something going towards that Young Avengers initiative. Though.
Yeah. We'll have to reconvene after and talk about it a little bit, man. Because I'm seeing it on Sunday morning, so
Okay.
Sunday afternoon I'll hit you up and we'll do some some armchair expert stuff afterwards
Oh
and
yeah,
talk about how good it is.
yeah. All right, let's do that. Let's do that.
All right, man.
Because,
Well, hey, thank you for being on once again. Hope to have you
yeah.
back soon to talk about something else.
Anytime, man. Anytime you want to talk, man, just hit me up. But just let me know what the subject is, and we can go. Because
All right.
I'm a big Marvel fan, man. You already
All
know.
right. Tell people where they can find your art.
Oh well, I'm at on Instagram. I'm moving everything to GK77 Art, all
Mm-hmm.
caps. Um, I had too many pages out there like Facebook and all that stuff, but everything is all my artwork and everything is going on there. All the murals that I've done, the tattoos and all of that stuff. I just did a mural in Hartford, Michigan, at Rabbit Hole Comics.
Cool.
Took me some months to do. We hooked it up. You can go check it out on there. Check out Rabbit Hole Comics on Facebook. You'll see some of my work. And yep, 2025. I'm putting everything on there. And then right now I'm building my fan base page up. I'm trying to get off of Facebook so much and Instagram and all of that. I want to get on fan base.
Okay.
And that's what direction I'm heading in. And hopefully I'll be back soon and I'll holler at you guys, man.
All right, man. Hey, thank you again, and we'll talk to you again soon.
All right.
All right, my friends. That's gonna do it for the conversation with Gerald. That was a great conversation. I love that dude. He's got a unique style of art. You guys should definitely go check it out. As he said, GK77 Art on Instagram for now. He's a jack of all trades, man. Like that. Trust me, go check it out. He was talking about his like street art. He does like graffiti art. He does tattoos. He does comic books, animation. The dude does everything. Murals. Like it's kind of ridiculous the talent that he has and the amount of different things that he can do. So definitely go check out Gerald's art. Hope to have him back again soon. I'd love to hear what you guys thought about today's episode, Scorpion Rising. You can always reach out at Real Brett Scott on all social medias, or you can email the show. Leave me your comments there, or if you want to be a guest on the show like Gerald was today, it's marvelpluspodcast@gmail.com. Don't forget to check out the Marvel Plus Patreon at patreon.com/marvelplus, where you can get video versions of the episodes, bonus episodes, behind-the-scenes stuff. What else? We're reviewing the classic MCU films, right? Classic. I feel old now because 2008 is kind of a classic film, I feel like, at least in terms of comic book movies. But anyway, that, and please come join the Marvel Plus Facebook group. Just search Marvel Plus Podcast on Facebook. We'd love to have you in there. Keep the conversation going outside of the podcast. That's it for me today. I'll be checking in tomorrow. I don't know if I'll be solo or with a guest tomorrow, but we'll be talking episode 8 before we have to wait a full week for the final 2 episodes. I'll see you then. As always, my name is Brett Scott, and this has been Marvel Plus.